I'm Tim Pangburn, and this is Unstoppable.
The lessons pressing me to live above necessity, relentlessly receiving messages receptively, and in turn I repeat the blessings that rest in me. Life is easy when you are as a vessel. Act without stress and you'll find it's less stressful. Test of self are in mind to control. How righteous are you without being told?
Hey everybody, welcome to Unstoppable, a new series all about getting you motivated and getting you inspired to get out there and live up to your full potential. A lot of people look at positivity and self-improvement as being one of these things where you are just happy and positive and you're doing all this cool shit and like, oh, life is great and life is grand. But the thing is, it's not easy. It's not happy. It's not pretty. Life is difficult and we all face challenges every single day. My goal isn't to pump you full of feel-good bullshit. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk you through my process, what I've done with my life. 2 years ago, I was a fucking mess. I was a disaster. Everything about my life was just falling apart around me. I changed everything in my life. I was able to get a grip on it, analyze the problems, and start applying techniques that have improved everything by 1,000%. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share with you everything that I've done and keep you informed along the way as I continue to grow and continue to progress. Because I'll tell you what, self-improvement isn't an overnight thing, and it's not a thing that'll take you a year, 2 years, or 5 years, or 10 years. Self-improvement is lifetime work. You will do this shit until the day you die. If you want to be a good person, you want to be a productive person, you want to be a good member of society who's contributing to other people and helping them, then you got to start working on it right now. You got to take steps every single day. So since this is the first episode, I think the best thing I can do is take you back to the beginning of how it starts and what it is that you need to do if you want to change your mindset, change your life, and make a difference. Step one, self-awareness. I don't care how many books you read, how many podcasts you listen to, how many YouTube videos you watch, you will not be able to apply anything until you are aware of who you are inside. Now, this isn't a shallow level of awareness of like, oh, well, you know, I'm Tom and I'm an accountant. No, I'm not talking about that surface shit. That surface shit, that's just an aspect of what you do. That's not an aspect of who you are. You are not defined by your job. There's a lot deeper than that. For me, the first step of self-awareness is understanding that there is a dialogue going on in your head all the time. These are the two conflicting voices, the one that's telling you to do something and one that's telling you to feel a certain way. And they argue with each other constantly. It's a non-stop thing, and this always goes on. You can't stop this from happening. The only thing you can really do is learn to listen to the dialogue and step back and look at it. And when you see what's going on there, it starts to get a lot easier to be able to make positive changes from there. I think it's important to point out that emotions are not acting from the same place as logic and reason within the brain. They're separate parts of the brain. And when you're acting out of emotion, you're not thinking reasonably or rationally. This is why they say love is crazy. This is why angry people do irrational things. It's all because those two parts of the brain are arguing with each other, and you have to decide which one you're going to listen to. Now, if you don't make an active decision of what you're going to listen to, you're going to act out of emotion. And we all know we make bad decisions when we act out of emotion. So how can you get yourself to listen to the rational, logical brain when you're being driven by fear and frustration and anger? Well, the first thing is to be able to take a step back. When you feel angry or you feel scared or threatened, don't react. You're going to want to, but don't react. Take a step back and say, wait, why am I feeling this way? What's going on in me that's making me feel this way? A lot of times what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to blame the outside situation on how we feel and how we're acting. But the fact of the matter is that's not what it is. When we get angry and we get frustrated and we get upset, these are defense mechanisms. These are mechanisms within the brain that have evolved over millions of years to try to protect us from what it perceives as danger. The thing is, you have to be able to ask yourself, what is my brain perceiving as being danger? I'm going to use a real basic example to try to illustrate this. Let's say you're at work. You're supposed to get off work in 15 minutes. Your boss comes into the room and your boss is like, I need you to do this report and it's got to be due on my desk in the morning. You're like, fuck, I got shit to do tonight. I got places to go and this guy's going to make me stay after work for 45 minutes. What's the real reason you're angry? Are you actually mad at your boss? Probably not. You're going to blame it on your boss, but you're not mad at your boss. If this is your job, then you understand that this is something that may happen sometimes. Sometimes we have to do things we don't want to do. Sometimes we have to stay late. The real issue is that the demands of your job have now interfered with your plans outside of work. But if they're interfering with your plans outside of work, what were your plans? Were you supposed to meet some friends for a drink? Did you actually have an appointment and an engagement you can't get out of? So what's the real reason you're getting upset? Why are you getting angry? Are you actually angry with your boss? No. You're mad you have to stay late at work. You understand this is part of your job. You might have to do this from time to time. But staying at work is bothering you because it's interfering with your plans outside of work. Now let's just say you're supposed to meet people to eat or to have drinks or something like that, or to hang out, whatever. Why are you going to be upset about missing that? Why are you going to be upset about having to push off the movie for an hour until the next showing? Why are you going to be upset about not being able to get drinks at exactly the time you thought you were going to? I think most of the time when we get angry or upset that we might miss an engagement with friends or be late is because we're afraid of letting them down. So this anger you're projecting at your boss isn't really anger at all. It's actually a fear of disappointing people. Now, I mean, this is a very random example, and this is something that could happen to anybody at any time. And hey, maybe you do have something that's critical that you can't miss, and this is really screwing it up. That happens too. These things happen from time to time. But the important thing here is to be able to look at what you're feeling, why you're feeling it. Because the fact of the matter is, how you feel is not the outside world's responsibility. Life is going to happen no matter what you do. And sometimes life is going to feel like it's shitting on you. That's fine though. Life doesn't discriminate. This is what it does to everybody. Life is hard. Life is fucking savage. But the more you can step back and take the time to understand your emotions and see why you feel what you feel. And I'm not talking about the outside reasons. I'm talking about the interior reasons, the ones inside. We have the power for introspection and critical thinking. We need to use those abilities. I can guarantee when you dissect any problem you're experiencing, any negative feelings you experience, you dissect them deep enough and you're going to find fear. You're going to find that you're scared of something. And what is it that you're scared of? And why? Why are you unwilling to face that fear? I'm sure you've heard it before, and I've heard a million people say it, but on the other side of fear is growth. You're going to hit that wall of fear so many times in your life, you're going to lose track real fast. You're going to lose track real fast. You're not going to be able to count how many times you get scared or feel threatened. But these are just the day-to-day obstacles of existing. That's all they are. This is what happens in life, and everybody goes through it. You are not special or unique in this. But what is special and unique is using the mental capabilities you have to be aware of what you feel, why you feel it, and what you're going to do about it. So it's self-awareness. It's all about self-awareness. Now, you may try to examine the way you feel, and you might hit something before fear, but maybe you didn't dig deep enough. Like I said earlier, this is not overnight work. This is not something you're going to do in one shot. This is something you need to practice every single time you feel something negative. You need to examine it and get down to the base cause of it. I just had a rough weekend. I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to get out of bed most of the weekend. It was difficult. It was difficult, but I had to face it. And it took me the entire weekend to be able to work through and find the fear in there of what was making me feel this way. I had to take the time to be self-aware about what I'm feeling. And like I said, this took me days. This took me days, and I'm a guy who does this every day, and I've been doing this every day for years. And sometimes you still hit those tough moments, and it's hard to get past them, but you can't fucking give up. We don't have a choice to give up. This is life. If you want to excel, if you want to move beyond what the average person does, this is your first step, and this is the step you have to take every day. Recognize your emotions, recognize the external source, recognize the internal force. You're the only one responsible for your happiness. It's not the outside world. We have no control over the other people in our lives. We have no control over the circumstances. The world is not there to do our bidding. And that's the thing I think we forget. We're so self-centered that we forget that there are over 7 billion other people trying to make their own way and do what they feel is best for them. The thing is, so many people walk with blinders and they don't see anything beyond the own scope of their selfishness. That's when other people cause problems. That's when you're causing problems for other people. When you refuse to be able to see the truth in your own actions and your own responses to external stimuli, that's when you are causing problems in the world. The more self-awareness you can harness in your own life, the more of an asset you are to your fellow man. The more of an asset you are to other people, the more loved you are, the easier things become. Now, nothing's ever going to be completely easy, and you're going to be dealing with crises throughout your entire life, like I said, up until the day you die. But going through life blissfully unaware is far from blissful, and it's way more difficult than taking the time to learn about yourself and who you are. Self-awareness is a skill. It's something you can learn. Some people have an innate level of self-awareness that they naturally have, but so many of us really have to work hard at it, and that's okay. We're not going to be perfect. We're never going to get it perfect, but that's not what life is. Life's not about getting perfect. It's about doing your best and progressing. It's always about progress and growth. Self-awareness is step one in growth in all areas of life. Just practice that today. Just practice that next time you feel angry, next time you feel upset. Take a minute to think about why. But not why out here. Not the reason you feel you're angry, but why in here. Because that's where the real reason lies. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the first episode of Unstoppable. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these, so subscribe, like, share, comment, show some love. Tell me how I can improve things. Tell me what I can do to help make this a better experience for you, because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to serve you, not here for me.